Today, I'm welcoming on this episode Ioanna Mantzouridou Onasi, who's co-founder from Dextego. Welcome, Ioanna.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
So it's a huge pleasure having you here, and having met you some days ago, I must say that I'm super excited for this interview. You can see it in my face, and I want to know where you are currently because I'm gonna make some cheesy Greek questions. So where are you currently?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn. I'm in New York.
Okay, Brooklyn, New York. Then you must be missing somewhere in Greece, and
Of
it's June
course.
here. So I'm gonna ask you, what's your favorite Greek island?
Actually, I haven't been in many Greek islands, and I think I'll go with what everyone says because it's just a fact, and I will say Mykonos.
Oh my God. Okay, so this
Yeah.
is the next thing that we should do. You should come to Greece and visit Greek islands, and then let me know which is your favorite one. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we need to
So
fix that. I don't know. It's so interesting. I don't
it
know.
is indeed, and we're
I
waiting
have
for
to do
you.
that.
So I would love to learn even more about you and your background, where you're coming from. How did you end up in New York? So please give me your journey in a briefing.
Absolutely. So I'm from Thessaloniki. I came in New York 7 years ago. So I came for studies. I went upstate New York at St. Lawrence University for my bachelor's, where I studied psychology and communications. And then I did my master's at Pace University in Manhattan, where I studied strategic management with a focus on talent development. So prior to these 7 years, I had been coming to the US almost every summer, once or twice a year for different summer programs on business, sustainability, entrepreneurship. And I quickly realized how much I love the American educational system
Mm,
because, in comparison to the Greek one, where we just learn things by heart, you actually get to do experiential learning. So you learn through games, through activities. It's much more impactful. So I was determined, I wanted to study in the US. And then back home, when I went to Anatolia, I did the IB program the last 2 years of high school. So it better prepared me for that experience. And then after my studies, I basically stayed here, started working in startups, and I know we'll talk about that more later on. But yeah, I fall in love with entrepreneurship, and here I'm today, started Dextego with my team, living in Brooklyn. So if you asked me, 10 years ago if I would be doing this, I wouldn't know necessarily what I would be doing, but I would say I would be in the US. So
right.
I feel like it's a very unique journey, and I'm super grateful I had the chance to come here.
Definitely, and I believe it's extremely eye-opening and horizon broadening. Being in the US, getting to know how people conceive business and understand entrepreneurship, and I believe that you're super lucky, but you made your luck happen, and everything that you have done and
Mm,
all of your background is very closely connected to your mission and your vision with Dextego, as I understand. And with our previous conversation, I remember you telling me about your own entrepreneurial journey and where it started from. So I would love to know the point where you
yeah.
started feeling entrepreneurial and you thought, okay, guys, you're doing things. Now it's my turn to do things. So I would love to learn a bit more about that.
Yeah, so again, back to the summer programs aspect. So when I was 15, I attended Smith College, and it was a program for sustainability that really educated me a ton on the topic. I don't think I had heard that word before in Greece.
Mm,
So I was very motivated to share this knowledge with my friends, my colleagues at school. So when I came back to Greece, I decided to start this student organization, this club called NGSW, which stood for New Generation Sustainable World. And we had a very diverse group of students that really were motivated to learn. They want to participate in group activities. We did volunteering in the community. We went to different local businesses to suggest ways they can become
mm,
more sustainable. And all of that made me realize that, I had that leadership skill that led me to get a group of people together and do something that is better, not just for our growth, but also for the local community's growth, and then as a consequence, the world's growth.
Yeah.
So, starting from something very small, you can get to see how the domino effect really works.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, we ran that organization for 6 years. Then I came here, so it was really hard to maintain that. But it was my first, I would say, experience of leading a team.
Yeah.
And then what that translated into through sustainability was my passion with sustainable fashion and understanding what a huge impact it has on the world, how fashion is really number two in terms of pollutants. The supply chain is super complex, very long. So many people get affected through it, from garment workers, to child labor. All these things were so eye-opening for me. And then it led me to work, to volunteer actually to Fashion Revolution organization in the US while still being here in New York, becoming the bridge of the two countries, doing a lot of educational awareness events, and building the first sustainable summer program in Greece, in Athens. With the team, everyone was super talented, very committed to really the cause of amplifying the message of sustainability. And then, it's interesting. So I started from the business sustainability component to more like the fashion component to then talking about the mindset a lot. What does sustainability mean in general in our life? It means having long-term relationships, long-term thinking, and being very mindful of what we do for the next generation to come.
And being proactive.
So at my
So thinking,
master's, I started doing. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah. So being proactive, thinking what your actions mean for the future generation, and this has, as you told me before, an impact on our daily lives in general. So sustainability is a term that should be considered in human relationships with regards to the environment, everything.
100%. Absolutely, you're right. So at my master's, I wanted to do my thesis on the sustainability mindset, how it's defined, how it's executed, how can we develop it. So I joined this working group on sustainability from the UN. It's called PRME. It stood for Principles of Responsible Management Education. And I met one of my current mentors who's amazing. Her name is Isabel Rimanozzi. She's an expert in the field. She's written a ton of books on this. And yeah, she really helped me make this thesis and kind of bring the circle all together, understanding very deeply what moves me, but also the complexity of changing habits and mindsets, because change management for anything really is hard. No one accepts change very easily, but when it comes to something so deep that affects us all, I think it takes a lot of planning in between the governments, the education departments, and businesses. So I love the challenge, the complex thought behind, how can I help in this? What can
And
I do
and this is
to
straightly
shape,
connected. This is
the
straightly
future?
connected to your initiative to think about Dextego, of course, combined to your working experience, right?
Yes, absolutely. So Dextego, in a nutshell, is an AI coach for soft skills development, or else known as durable skills, such as communication, collaboration, and leadership. And it gives personalized challenges, scenario-based challenges based on your role and industry. So let's say you're a teacher, and the scenario that your AI coach gives you is that you have this difficult, like, child in the classroom. It does a lot of noise and it distracts other students. How would you handle it? How would you go about the situation? So now you record yourself in 30 seconds giving your answer, and your AI coach sees your facial expressions, your tone, your pitch, the content of what you're saying, and it gives you suggestions on how to improve that, but also highlights the things you did right. Because a lot of times people struggle receiving feedback, but in reality it's mostly about how you get to receive that feedback. People tend to
Exactly.
say only the negative. We need to really, I think, compliment each other more, help each other more, boost our
100%. Yeah.
confidence through what we're doing right, and just build on that.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is that what we're doing is really meant for Gen Z. And Gen Z loves gamified tools. They
Yeah.
love micro learning. They love engagement, interaction, and that's what we're doing. It's not a passive code that just comes here and there whenever you have an issue. It's something that embeds in your daily routine. 30 seconds every day, you do your challenges. That means exponentially you'll grow over time.
Right. Correct.
and
Correct.
and that's really the goal. It's to embed in everyone's life, no matter their field and industry, and create a community of lifelong learners who are serious about their personal growth, and they want to
Mhm.
help each other through mentorship and through peer-to-peer games. So that's what Dextego is all about. We just want to make the world better through helping people become better communicators, collaborators, and leaders.
That's I find it amazing. I find your product and your service extremely impactful. I believe that it's a service that not only serves businesses, but it also serves the community long term. And this is highly
Absolutely.
important. So I would like you to give me an idea of what is the problem that you found in the market and your company is solving. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So there were two big trends we saw, and we also talked to hundreds of Gen Z founders, CEOs to understand how they felt about it. But the two big trends that we saw are the rise of solopreneurship, with more than half of the US workforce participating in it by 2028, and also the shift from hard skills to soft skills due to the use of AI tools. And these two trends led into a wide space of a big underserved community of solopreneurs and small to medium sized businesses that wanted to learn. They want to learn these skills because they know they need them to succeed, but they couldn't find any affordable solution.
Mm,
They can afford an executive coach, but also they couldn't find something personalized and gamified, something fun that they can use again and again and again. Because the number one problem of a lot of edtech platforms is user adoption. It's not user
mm,
acquisition so much. You can get obsessed with learning something, even on YouTube. You can go watch like 3 hours of something a day, but then that's it. Then you'll stop going back to it because this urge has disappeared. So if you are managing to get the user to come back every day, that's how you win. What's called as daily active use in terms of SaaS metrics.
right.
So talking about this white space, when we talk to these people, we realize that the tools that existed yesterday are not fit for today and are not fit for also our ideal customer profile, which is primarily Gen Z. And that was a big gap. These people are people who want to grow and just don't know how. And on the other hand, you have big corporations that have a talent development department that are more hands on with employees. These are the ones that usually create like webinars or in person
Mm,
workshops.
yeah.
But the problem is that due to lack of resources again and having a big number of people to cater to, they don't do one on ones. They just do something for the average of the group, And what does
Correct.
that
Yeah.
lead to? That leads to losing your super high potential employees, your stars, and also the ones that can't follow that fast. And the way you solve that is through AI, through being able to hyper personalize and be there as an unbiased resource, but also as a champion for your employees to grow and develop over time.
Correct. And I'm sure that
I hope I
according,
answer your question.
yeah, 100%. And I wanted to add on the question. I'm sure that you have done your surveys and your research with regards to what is your product market fit. So I would like to understand what is the feedback that you have got for this solution. Do you think it's something that people want? Are they interested in investing in this? Um, do you think that the lack of maybe personal interaction would be an obstacle? I'm sharing thoughts, and that I'd love to have your feedback on it.
Yeah, and thank you for this. So we know that the world is not ready for full-on AI, which is why we're connecting AI coaches with the human interaction of the
Mhm.
community.
Yeah.
When I was saying like the mentorship or the peer-to-peer games, that will be human to human, and that is the beauty of Dextego. It's not replacing anyone. It's not saying AI is here to replace, other humans. It's just offering what we can do as talent developers for everyone to a bigger scale, this
Yeah.
one-on-one personalization. But the feedback we get is actually super positive. It's the fact that we know Gen Z, but that's because I am a Gen Z myself, so I can relate and I know what tools I would use, but also what my peers use, and I can just relate to the gamified approach of things, the design first approach,
Mm,
because you can get someone with years of experience in the field to create something that they think is working, like that it makes sense as a product, but the way they promote it or design it or talk to the audience doesn't land. And that's the
correct.
world we live in today with the noise out there, the competition. In any field, it's about how you stand out, and you stand out when you actually do what your clients ask you to do, which is what we did. We just asked people, is this what you want? And they said yes. But it's not a one time thing. You constantly have to ask your client, you constantly have to innovate. So today we have a focus group of 10 people who are clients and also fit all the criteria for our deal profile, and keep getting feedback on our product roadmap, on our features,
That's
our
great.
tokens, how things will operate in 5 years from now. So we need to always maintain that close relationship with our client.
Of
But
course.
yeah, to conclude, the positive has been great. The feedback has been great from all stakeholders, which is what we really love. Like it's something anyone can use, no matter their role, their title. Everyone can get benefit out of Dexago.
That's great. And if I understand correctly, since it's super personalized and super tailor made, it means that there's a variety of stages and personalized approaches to everyone's needs, right?
Yeah, so what we do with these challenges is we see how you've done in your previous ones over time, and we present you the one that you still need to develop those skills connected to it. So what I'm saying is that we're seeing for 12 skills which ones you have already developed pretty well, which ones you still need to develop, and we'll create your future challenges according to that. So it's a very dynamic way. It's called adaptive learning. And this data is super powerful because in the long term, we can tell you that would be a good fit for you, like this role or this career, or like we can suggest also how you can leverage these skills in your
And make
life.
and make projections
Because
that make
a lot
sense.
of people are talented, but yeah, yeah, exactly. A lot of people are talented and they are stuck in jobs because there's not a good fit of their talents and the company's needs,
Correct.
and
Right.
that can be
Right.
easily resolved using us.
Exactly. And it's data that can be, as you said, used in order to help the individual create through you a path that makes sense for themselves. And since we're talking sustainability, I would love to know, how does a company actually make money and how scalable and sustainable your business model is?
Yes, awesome. Great question. So we're a subscription-based application, right? For solopreneurs, pretty straightforward. We are at 149 per user per year. Then we have a startup package for like up to 3 employees at 299 per year, and then a growth one at 999 per year for up to like 15 employees. So we try to keep our pricing very transparent, but our path to scale and sustainable growth is strategic partnerships.
Mm.
And partnerships can be of various kinds. It can be partnerships with professional groups that focus on roles such as chief of staff networks. It could be founder groups through accelerators, incubators. It could be co-working spaces that attract founders. And of course, it can be other talent development platforms or HR tools, recruiting tools. It can be of various kinds, and obviously that looks different for each.
Yeah.
But for this year, our main strategic partner, where our focus is with Aptivio.
Mm.
Aptivio is a B2B SaaS Revenue AI tool. They're Series A right now, and they sell basically Revenue AI to marketers and sales users to help them boost revenue through leveraging buying intent and network sales, monitoring 1 billion data points a day, understanding when there are in-market accounts for you, interested buyers, and helps you get to your quotas basically.
Yeah.
So where we come in is Dextego will integrate with the Aptivio ecosystem for AI coaching when it comes to sales pitches.
Right.
Sales users pitch companies, pitch products to clients all the time. So they can definitely benefit from something like that,
Sure.
cater to their needs. So that's our main focus for partnership till the end of this year, and we're super excited. I think it will be a game changer, and it will really help sales to a whole other level when it comes to their training.
Right. It makes perfect sense, and it you give me a nice next question, which would be, the market is apparently growing because it's a need that is growing. AI is exponentially growing. So the question here is, how do you see this growth visually in 5 years, right? And of course, do you think that do you have any numbers to share with me? Any projections?
Absolutely. So the market size, it's really big. It's 160 billion TAM, total addressable market. Now, what I see is that indeed it's a space that is growing and it will keep growing. EdTech in general is growing very fast. But I think the early adopters today are the ones that are already, using AI tools. They are the ones that are super confident about prioritizing the personal growth on top of a busy work life, etc. Like there are people who are so passionate about their growth that they will like not go out for weeks till they feel like that they have accomplished something. But these are rare. These are people who would go to the gym every day. Like these are people with discipline. But these are our early adapters. However, I think because of the work-life balance that will be created by leveraging AI to do mundane tasks, even people who weren't prioritizing their personal growth will do that down the road.
Eventually.
That's, I think, where I see the world going. Where we are forced to look internally and understand what we're missing in our lives and think of how we'll get there, which the answer is always durable skills, soft skills like self-awareness, confidence, negotiation, communication. These are the basic skills you need to succeed in anything you do. So that's what I think will happen, that we can't even fully predict how big this market is because of how much AI will transform the society overall.
Okay, I hear you. I follow you. It's of course it's important to understand where this is going, and I'm sure that since you're also in which we didn't mention, you're in a pre-seed stage, you're in an early stage. So this is feedback that you're going to keep on getting while you go
Hmm.
grow. And of course, I would love to hear about, since we're talking about the market, I'd need to know about the competition. So are there other competitors in this? Of course, there are. And why do you have an advantage? You're leveraging AI tools, which is something that's currently not a niche, but it's a growing market. So, would you like to talk to me a little bit more about the competitive advantage?
Of course, of course. So Dextego is the only multi-skilled and video-first application that focuses on adaptive learning when it comes to soft skills. What I mean with the multi-skilled is that we don't just focus on communication or on leadership, which some competitors do. And that's because when you talk to someone, I had explained that to you when we talked last time, you don't activate a part of your brain that says, okay, let me now pull out my communication card. All your skills kind of come together for that interaction to take place. So you cannot just focus on one and say you've grown, because you can't just test that. So what we do is really realistic scenarios and challenges where all these skills come together, but we focus on one every time, a little more than the rest.
Right.
So that's how we
Holistic
can track
approach.
your progress. But yeah, what exactly what some competitors do, I don't know if you want me to mention some names, but there are
I'm
some
open.
AI
I'm
tools
open
that
to
focus
anything.
on one, like leadership or presentation.
I'm open to anything.
Okay, awesome. So I'll tell you, one pretty cool app out there is Banks AI. They focus on leadership. They've raised the seed round. We did extensive research. I'm telling you, I went and talked to hundreds of people when initially we were also thinking to focus more on leadership, like C-suite level, etc. But what's the point of doing that when you can help the entire world? And I don't mean entire world as like we do something that can solve everyone's pain point, but something that can be used by multiple levels of people in a company. Because when you say you're doing something for leaders, you're missing out on so many people who don't associate themselves with that word. They don't see themselves as a leader. And that
Correct.
also personally goes against my talent development morals. Like, I don't want to just focus on the elite, I want to help everyone develop their skills. So, when we went out and did research, we saw that there wouldn't be basically a fit in the market for such an app, which is when we start thinking of the multi skilled approach. On top of that, what competitors do today is embedding ChatGPT on whatever they're doing as a chat version, which is very vague because it's not personalized and it takes time to give you an answer. So
Yeah.
we've created our own machine learning algorithm on top of all the OpenAI sources and APIs out there. We have our own data sets and machine learning algorithms behind the scene that allow us to create a network effect. Because every time we get a new user, now this user's input doesn't only help the AI codes for them become better, but it helps the entire thing become better for all users. And that is something competitors are not doing today. To conclude, our community, which is something we're engineering since day one in our roadmap, is what we think is a mode at scale. Competitors are not focused on creating that community. I think it is because it's very hard to do. To create a community that everyone is engaged and they see value out of it is super hard. But when you actually know your audience, and you just allow them to build it with you, it's something that's very doable.
Would you say that there's something preventing other companies do the same thing? This could be anything from the people in your team to your very specific and tailored approach. It could be literally anything. Do you think there's something like keeping competition out from this market?
Yeah, I think it's a couple of things. One, it's what I just said in terms of the knowledge of Gen Z. It's really something unique that we bring on the table. But in general, our team dynamics is something very hard to replicate. So our team is consisted of myself as a co-founder that has experience in talent development and building communities. I've done research with talent experts on stars, high potential employees, a PhD dropout. My entire career has been focused on what can we do to make people better. And then my co-founder and CTO, Sean Vasquez, he's worked at American Express for 10 years. He's led hundreds of consumer app projects at scale, but he always had, his side startup ideas and projects he was working on that he's such an entrepreneurial mindset, but he also knows how to bring things in fruition. And then our executive chairman, Guy Mounier, who was also our first investor, he's the co-founder and CEO of Aptivio that I mentioned our strategic partnership with, that I've worked with 2 years now as a chief of staff. And he has past exits. He's run three different tech startups, scaled them. He's been an investor in 14 startups, including Datadog. So we have a unique team that is very complementary in terms of skill set. And we also know how to work together because we've done that in the past. So that is something that is very hard to achieve. Finding a co-founder is a big deal. And I think even if you took some different experts in the field and you just threw them in the room and said, okay, build what we built, they can't do it. So yeah, I'm very confident in our team. I've always said that culture is number one, and culture is created by people. So our people is everything, and I know they're super committed to the mission of democratizing access to soft skills, helping amplify other skills, and creating a sustainable world through our viewpoint.
I couldn't agree more. I totally support the idea that culture and team are above and beyond everything. As it's just like you said, the hardest thing to replicate, especially if you have the same mission and vision with your teammates. I don't believe there's something more important than this. And as we go deeper into the technical stuff, I would love that we could share some numbers. So I would love to start talking about your financials, your projections, the state in which you're in currently.
Of course, with pleasure. So today we are, firstly, when did the company start? The company started in January. We started an EdTech accelerator here in New York. So the company has been around for a few months, where in January also we released our MVP. And now we hit that June today, 25K in ARR, acquiring tons of users from the Aptivio Ecosystem and also from our personal networks. So we have around 300 users today. We are looking to get 500 more by end of year. We keep it small and controlled because these few months are, as I mentioned earlier, all about understanding the user needs getting that feedback, improving our challenge, improving everything to match what the clients need, and releasing our AI pitch feature, which is for sales pitching. So that's what we're focused on today. We are going to probably hit another 100K by end of the year, and then next
Best of
year
luck with that.
400K more. So we're looking to hit two. Yeah, thank you so much. We're looking to hit 2 million in ARR by 2025.
Okay, I got my projection, and again, I'm sure that with what we're doing now and with your steps, you will get that the funding that you need. And since we were talking funding, I'm very interested in knowing, first of all, as you said, you're currently seeking for funding, and how are you planning on allocating that funding?
Yes, great question. So we're raising 500K today. We want to basically hire 2 new developers to join our engineering team with our CTO and the other 2 developers we
Thank
have
you
to
for
release our
sharing.
mobile app. This will be huge for us because today we're only desktop app. Yes. And on top of that, we want to invest in growth marketing. Again, the Gen Z population and consumers want constant engagement and to feel alive, to feel like they're part of the company. So growth marketing is huge. Content, webinars, conferences, this engagement is super important. So these are, I would say, the top priorities for us today. The developers and the growth marketing investment.
Great. Okay. So this means you're currently hiring, as you said, you're currently hiring developers, and you're later on planning on hiring people to help you with growth marketing strategies, right?
Yeah, so we're hiring 2 developers after the pre-seed and the growth marketing, and of course there are infrastructure costs included and maintenance.
Of course.
It's boring, so we don't have to mention that.
Of course, sure. So my last question is, what is the feedback that you get from the investors that you're currently speaking to? And what are you planning on doing with that feedback? You said you're into change management and you have done studies on it and you have worked on it. So I understand that you will take this feedback and do something with it. And I'd love to know more about it.
Absolutely. The feedback we've been getting is really positive, especially for the UX. And I'm very glad we did that like investment initially in terms of the UX, because first impression is everything, right? So when I show the app and I see smile faces, that's it. I'm so happy. But yeah, the feedback in particular is when it comes to the market, that there's a clear opportunity, there is a big white space. So the market opportunity is like 5 out of 5 always. And the question investors and VCs always have is how you're gonna keep acquiring clients, right? Like how are you gonna surpass the 100 million ARR one day? What's gonna be you, which is something you asked me, but also how you can keep on scaling even if new competitors come in the space. And my response and what we're planning on doing is back to the community component. Because today, the competitors that exist don't have like all our features, or don't do like what we do, but let's say they did exactly what we do in like 2 years. Even then, because we will have already acquired the clients and we will have put them in our engaging community and they would be interacting with others and they would be so engaged and invested in it, they wouldn't want to go to just another app just because it's something new. And that's when you know that you have created loyalty, like loyal consumers that no matter the competition stay with you
Stay with you,
because
right?
they feel engaged. They know they're learning and they're growing. So yeah, if anything, competitors are great because they validate the market even further. So that's always good. But yeah, the feedback net is very supportive, and I'm very happy for every conversation I had, because this input that we're being given initially is super critical for how we're shaping our product roadmap.
100%. And at this point, we have gone through some most of the technical skill things, and I just want you to let me know of anything that this thing means to you, and how you're feeling about this journey, and anything that you would like to add to this lovely conversation that we had, anything that you would like to share with the community, anything that you would love other people that are in the same journey as you want to know. Shoot me.
Amazing. So, how I think and what I feel about this. First of all, I couldn't imagine of anything else that I would be doing today. I'm super happy that I'm working on Dextego, and I'll do my best to see it, come to fruition and become the thing that I imagine it to be, which is impacting millions of people. And what I want to say is that my biggest lesson in the process of becoming, an entrepreneur, being a female founder from Greece in the US, um, and seeing others' journeys, I would just say, trust yourself. And this is what we say next to do. You need to trust yourself in the process of learning. Learning comes through many challenges and many difficulties, but the outcome is always great because you can see, if you look back, how much you grew. So trusting yourself is number one, and resilience, like always keep going. No matter what, you'll find the way to go forward. I think are the things I would like to leave the audience with.
Thank you so much, Ioanna. Thank you so much. I had this was a great conversation, and I believe that there's so much to offer, not only with Dextego but with your experience in this field. And I can see your passion, which is leading all of this, and I cannot but admire you and congratulate you for this. And I'm gonna leave this talk with another cheesy Greek question. So I'm gonna ask you anything that you would like to share as your favorite thing or word in Greek with our Greek community, and teach the rest of the world who don't know and don't speak Greek.
Oh, this is great. You know what? I love koboloi. I just love my koboloi because it's just something that it's super traditional and no like women that are young have, but I just love it.
I didn't expect that,
I don't
man.
know. I think it's super anti-stressful. I don't, I don't. Like my dad had given me one when I was younger, and I still have it. And I don't know, it's the best. I think everyone should check it out. Like if you're not from Greece and you're wondering what kubaloi is, believe it,
Okay,
you'll
guys, so
know.
koboloi it is. That's Ioanna's favorite word for today. Ioanna, I wish you the best of luck with Dextego. I believe that it's going to have a
To
great runway. It's going to have a great impact, and I cannot wait to hear what's new with it and what's new with you. So, thank you so much for your time. It was such a pleasure. Wish you the best.
likewise, thank you so much. You're amazing, and
Very soon.
thank
Ioanna μου,
you.
φιλάκια. Cheers. Bye bye.